this is Mike here once again. I recorded this video and I deleted it. So this is part 2 of creating a basic login system. I deleted it accidentally, which is not cool at all, but you know what? Nothing's perfect. So let me continue on. So one thing that I did do was I saved as index and I saved as login.php. Okay. Um so right now we're going to access the database. So once these values get posted, we want to check the database to see if um, the information posted by the user is true. So what we're going to do here is if MySQL num rows q is greater than 0, because we want to check to see if there's a value that's greater than 0. And if there is a value that's greater than 0, we want to do something. Okay, so what we're going to do, what we want to do if it's greater than 0 is that we want to actually get those queried results. Also, I just noticed here, if you're going to create your database table, primary key, you want to set the ID to. So okay, now if it's true, then we're getting this information. Else, if it's false, what we're gonna do is I am going to just display a message saying, sorry, information that you put in is not valid. Please log in again. Period. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is I am going to create a session. Okay, session start, and what I'm gonna do with the session is I'm gonna store ID gets R, which is ID, and we don't even really have to create this right here if we're gonna store a session. So actually session ID gets R and session, let's store the first name as well, first name. Okay, gets R. Based on your company requirements or your project requirements in general, it's up to you to store the sessions how you want when you're creating a login. I'm just showing you the way to go to do this, but once again, watch out for that MySQL library because it is deprecated after I think 5.4 of PHP. I'm not too sure. You could check php.net for that. So first name. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to call header location gets user.php question mark ID gets ID. Because what we can do again, since we started in a session, we could initialize the variable once again of ID, but I'm just going to keep it simple because it's already started in a session. Okay, for header, I'll put ob start over here. Oop. And MySQL close over here. and ob flush over here. Okay, so and we don't need this. Just double checking the script to make sure it looks like it would run. Okay. See, I already have this database created, so I'm not not going to go ahead and create it again. What I'm gonna do is create user.php. Okay. So over here, I'm gonna say if the ID is set of the session, ID, then do all this else, echo. There appears to be a problem logging in. Please try again. Obviously you guys could make it look better than me, but whatever. Okay, now over here I'm going to pass the session of first name, call it first name gets this session, and ID gets session. Okay, now to see if this works, what I'm gonna do is first name and ID is ID. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is save it. This is user.php. And now I'm gonna test it. Okay, one thing I forgot to add was session start above the user script, and everything else looks good. One thing I just personally changed when I did my own testing was since my connection directory is a little far, then I just changed this, but it all depends on where your directory is. So the only thing that you have to add is session start to actually get this working. So now let me show you a test version. So over here, just hid my password, but whatever. And I put the email. And then I put in the password and press log me in now. And what you see here is Michael and ID is 1. So going back to our script, remember we stored first name and ID into the session. What you can do too is, if you wanted to, you can create this in a method and put it in a class, and I would show you how, but probably in the next tutorial. And you can reuse that class to call that specific session method to make sure that the session is open in order for the user to browse within their account. Like I said, this is just the basic version of creating a login system. It's even using a deprecated function, which is MySQL. Put MySQL and everything will change. Go to php.net on how to implement MySQL or PDO and learn how to deal with security, and from there you can have a more robust login system. So I hope you enjoyed this video and have a wonderful day. Bye.